Dynamite drop.
Hello everyone and welcome to this stream. I'm trying to close YouTube. Okay, I did it. So, hello everyone. I hope everything is good. I hope you're excited as me for the first recap of the season and welcome. So, without further ado, I guess we are gonna start with the stream. I have to admit, I had a lot of fun making the banner with the banner you can see behind. Okay, so let's go straight into the action. We should get Blood Bowl up and running here. Okay, here it is. So, first season, season 15, Division 4B, and this is REBBL GMAN. Let's move to the schedule of the first day. So, everyone has played their match. I'm sure no one got their match managed by an admin. And we are going to go straight into the action with our first match, which was Sigmar Blood Knights RBBL against the Manor Muppets. Alright, so Sigmar Blood Knights and Men vs Muppets, it went 1-2 for Manor Muppets, which should be, if I'm correct, Chubstep team. And Mighty Zug got the MVP. That's great for him. So let's analyze the match we had. We had 1 touchdown, 1 pass, and 18 armor breaks for Moltres. And we see the MVP went on one of his catchers, but not the best catcher he had. And if I'm correct, Chopstep, but I'm gonna check very soon, got 2 touchdowns, which got him the lead to win, and 13 armor breaks. So as I remember from Discord, he said that Moltres team is a very hard one when we speak about beating. Okay, so let's go to the statistics. Well, 75% ball possession from Men vs Muppets. It's kind of great that quite justifies the result of a 2-1 for him. And as we can see, he spent most of the time with the ball inside the opponent area. So Moltres clearly had some very hard time defending. For blocks, we can see a fairly even number and even chaos. However, Sigmar hit quite harder, but we're gonna check the team developments later on. So we had a lot of yards running from the Yumis. We can see just half of those yards on Sigmar Blood, and we see one pass from Sigmar, from which I get, yeah, it makes sense, was a medium range pass. And then we can see casualties. Man versus Muppets sustained 5 casualties, so one was self-inflicted. Yeah, exactly. One was self-inflicted. And let's move to the team development. So we can see Menor Muppets got 7 SPPs on Mighty Zag, which is not great for the team development. But then we can see 3 SPP on Dr. Thief, we can see 3 SPP on the Swedish Chef, and 4 SPP on Pepe the King Prawn. Yeah, exactly. The 1 Cass and 1 MVP Cheeto. And then we have a lot of SPPs in the Sigmar Blood Knights RBBL from the MVP, and then a lot of injuries. I guess this one is a touchdown. We can see the pass, and 4 SPP, which I guess those are injuries. Moving to the dice rolls. So we can see 21-17 with an average in the middle against 24-24, which quite balance itself. But let's check the statistics. So we see some dodges. We see, is there anything in particular? We can see a success of 11 injuries. This is a 78%. We can see Sigmar Blood Knights had to deal with a fireball, and if I'm correct, 2 of his players went down while 1 stayed up. I'm sure that's how it works in the statistics of this game, otherwise it's the other way around. Then we have quite normal statistics. You can see 4 going for it's working and 2 not working, which is fair enough. Maybe just a bit unlucky, but in the norm. Of course, oh, this is interesting. This is a 5 failure on casualties. So if I'm correct, he managed to injury every time he break armor, I guess. I don't really remember how these statistics work. And we can see he had no bonnet at all, so the ogre just did an amazing job on the pitch. Moving to Menor Muppets, we can see a lot of less dices. I mean, less possibilities in difference from Sigmar Blood Knights. We can see 2 failures from the ogre of Menor Muppets. While we can see the bribe worked, the Kios worked, the catch was successful. Even here we see some casualties. Going for it, limited but working, good for him. And then we can see the usual armor and injury statistics. Let's see the blocking dice. So he had Moltres team had 13 skulls and 17 pows with a lot of stuff in the middle. I'm quite sure this defender stumble, if I'm correct, it's the name. With all the tackle pieces he had, surely were not a problem. In fact, we can see he chose them instead of block. That's why you love developed teams. While we can move to Menor Muppets, and we can see quite the average, very similar to Moltres dices. We can see 11 skulls and 19 pows with 18 defender stumbles and 40 pushes. So I guess a lot of those were yeah, exactly. As you can imagine, there were a lot of pushes chosen, but near the end of the match, no, wait. Okay, they are by player, so never mind. Never mind the last thing I was going to say. All right, so this was Sigmar Blood Knights RBBL versus Manor Muppets. Now let's go and see how their team developed with this. I prepared somewhere, if it's working, just a second. I prepared their yeah, I try my best. I really wanted to watch every single match, GOAT, but unfortunately, real life is quite um, abusing of my free time. So I have to try and do my best to get in the details with the statistics the game provides me. But the best thing I worked on is this one, if it opens. All right, so this is Chubstep team, and we can see the development from his last match. We can see he gained 1,000 fans, so his victory brought some new fans for him. And we can see Dr. Thief, which leveled, he gave him kick, which is a very responsible choice for a thrower, since he already has all the necessary skills for a thrower. However, I guess he's really hoping for a double or a AG plus stat. And we can see he hired a new lineman called the Sam Eagle, which, if I'm correct, is a substitute of older Sam Eagle, which got fired after an injury. And moving on to Moltres team. Sigmar Blood Knights RBBL. This team was quite a pain to analyze because, you know, I used spike reports to get my informations, and well, let's just say that when there are so many perms already on players, it gets really hard to understand what actually happened to the team. So the fan factor remained the same, so it didn't lose fan from the loss, and we can see some injuries this team has suffered. So Hieronymus Foreign as got an eagle from the last match, while Incarnado 011 got a strength bust, but since he already had 2 strength busts, he didn't lose anything. So it's just a miss next game for him. He's used to it. And then we get Edwin Panzermann, which is just an MNG. And this should close up for these two teams. This was Sigmar Blood Knights RBBL versus Chubstep's team Manor Muppets. Alright, so let's go back to the schedule. Okay, let's read the chat for a moment. Oh, thank you, Goat. I try my best. All right, so as I said on the channel Discord, we would have a little happy competition for about predictions about the results. So we're gonna see as soon as I get my prediction windows up. Yeah, it worked. Oh, thank you, Goat. All right, so this is our prediction board. We'll see who will participate and who will just watch. And we'll make sure to recap all the points everyone scored through their predictions in our channel Discord. So just a moment while I recover the file, which for some reason was closed, probably by me. I cannot find it. Alright, there it is. So, the winner of the prediction for Sigmar Blood Knights RBBL against Manor Muppets is whoever choose Manor Muppets, of course. So, the winners are Eringzord, Fiat Laksha, Goat, me, and Basman Grob, our division admin. So, let's go, and if I can get this to work. I'm gonna why it's not working now. Oh, there it is. All right, so we're gonna score points. So it's 1 for me and it's 1 for Erring Sword, and it's 1 for Goat, and then we got 1 for Besman Grub. They get everyone? No, of course I'm forgetting Fiat, which I have no idea if he's watching right now. In any case, I'm sorry. So yeah, that's starting to shape him up. Well, Goat, side events can be as fun as the game itself, especially if you don't care too much about winning the Blood Bowl matches and rather just smash opponents in the face. All right, and this was the first match of the first week of this season. Now we're gonna move up to Graf Billy's Vendetta against Dark Mode FTW. All right, so we have, if I'm correct, Beer Monkeys team against Major Bite team. So we can see one touchdown for Graf Billy's Vendettas as well as Dark Mode, which leads us to a draw. We can see 10 armor bricks from the Chaos teams against the 5 armor bricks from the Dark Elf team, which is quite understandable, especially because this team has a lot of block, and I'm not in Major Bite team is not developed enough to deal with that for now. So we can see 2 passes from the elves, which is quite norm, and we can see an MVP on Shrunken Bob, which leveled up and got a skill, and we can see a very useful MVP on Major Bite's Witch Elf, Regex 101. Alright, so let's dip into the statistics. We can see the Chaos keeping the ball, which makes me expect that they started in attack, probably, and they managed to keep the ball safe. You can see the occupation of the own and opponent's half being way greater than Major Bite's team. So I can see Chaos building up a nice cage, make sure that that defensiveness of his team is put to good use, and just defending the ball to get the ball on the other side and score the touchdown that was needed for the draw. We can see 37 blocks against the 26, and we can see 6 KOs inflicted by Graf Billy's Vendettas. So we can see a lot of elves probably went out in the first half, and we are going to see later if they actually got up. We can see a lot of yards running from Chaos team, which is quite unexpected against elves. So I would say Major Bite maybe had some issues dealing with the Chaos cage. Someone maybe want to update me on that if someone has watched the match. And then, yeah, of course, we can see casualties and KOs sustained. So I guess there also was a self-inflicted KO and just a low number of casualties. All right, so we're gonna move to the development of the teams. We can see Shrunken Bob getting the MVP and probably, I guess, the touchdown of this match. Or yeah, that's probably what happened. And we can see Tortigors getting 4 SPPs. Then on Major Bite, we can see a lot more of SPPs. We got the MVP on the Witch, and I guess one of the injuries. We can see VS 2009, sorry, with 1 SPP. We can see 3 SPPs on Notepad++ and 1 SPP on Discord. Now let's move to the dice rolls. So we can see Graf Billy's Vendettas throwing not too many dice, as we can see a lot of 2s. So if he did some GFIs, no, oh yeah, 1 GFI failed. So a lot of 2s, but a fair number of 1s and 6s and the usual stuff in the middle. We see that he got all his KOs up. We can see he got his casualties straight right. He failed an interception, kinda guess, and he got 4 injuries. So yeah, that's quite a lot of hitting. We can see he managed to get a dodge and fail a dodge. Not much else to say about these D6s. Let's move to Dark Mode FTW and his D6s. We can see his lips went through, so we can definitely say that Major Bad try and break the cage and the defensiveness that the Chaos team put up. And we can see a lot of dodges, which went great. This is actually the standard failure rate, 83%, so it's quite what would you expect making 37 dodges in a match? We can see all 4 catches went straight right for him, so I guess these are all the SPs that came out on that match. We can see a lot of GFIs, which went fairly great for Major Bite, and then we can see the injury rolls went fine, if I'm correct. I can never remember. I think it's the word witch. Okay. That's probably it. I still have to set up the moderator chat. Yeah, I'm gonna set up the auto mod just right after this match goat. Thanks for the update. I still have to make sure I don't mess that up. So we can see the light move went great. So yeah, that probably was the stadium with both. No, I'm okay. So he had a wizard and the light bolt went great, and then we can see a passing rate that is not really amazing for an elf team. But we can see the chaos just got straight up, so the chaos went correctly. So let's move to the blocking dices. We can see on Graf Billy's Vendetta side 13 skulls against 16 pows. And we can see a lot of defender stumbles, but since it sells, I guess some of those were dodges. So quite hard for Graf Billy's Vendetta to get their targets, but I guess he managed just through to get the draw. Let's move to dark mode FTW blocking dices. So we can see he didn't roll too many dices, but he had to deal with way more skulls and buff downs than pows and defender stumbles. So I'm quite sure we're gonna we should discuss about the fact that Major Bite was in a difficult position and that his draw was, I'm not saying probably, but surely affected by the result of his blocking dices. And so that's it for Graf Billy's Vendetta versus Dark Mode FTW. So now we're gonna move, as we did before, to the team developments. And let's see. Let's see, should be straight here and all right, there we are. Okay, so Beer Monkey got 1,000 fans, and so his fan factor increased by 1. 1,000 fans for his team for the draw. We can see Marrock Reborn with his level up. He got no wait, this was the level up he still didn't do before the match, if I'm correct, which is why I put this color. So before, when you was still waiting for the level up of the first match, he had a level up and he chose Sure Ends, which probably worked for him. Someone is telling me that the stream dropped. Goat, is the stream still working? Hmm. Everything is fine on my side, so I don't know what happened. Probably try and refresh. Let me type and try. Oh, okay. Thank you, Cheeto. Okay, so the stream is up. Yeah, I don't have the tools to check if my stream goes down, so I'm really glad if someone tells me. All right, so we have seen that Shrunken Bob got a level up, which unless he has taken now, no, he still hasn't taken it, so we can't see that right now. So we're going to see it next week. And then the Beer Monkey bought a new beastman called Gruffbill Trollsbane. Okay, great, good. MP, you're back on the stream. And these were the level ups and the development of Gruffbilly's Vendettas for the first week. And moving on to Major Byte team as soon as I can open it. All right, so we can see Major Byte quite suffered from this draw. We can see 1,000 fans decided to leave, probably because of that passing game. Seeing 2 failures from the elves was not correct, not right. But except for that, we don't see any level up. We have seen the good MVP on the Witch, but it's still far away to a new level up. And we can see GitHub Desktop got retired / fired after he suffered a niggling injury from that match. And this set us up for our second match of the week. So let's go back to the leaderboard and check our predictions, which should be just right here. All right, so let's see who predicted correctly this week. As we said, the game was a draw, and we can see nobody voted for the draw, so there's no winner for this match. We can see Draconius and Major Bite thought that Graf Billy's Vendettas were going to win, and Erring, Zord, and basically everyone else voted for Major Bite victory, so there are no points to assign for this match. All right, moving on to Roughing the Ref against Exion All-Stars. So, we can see Roughing the Ref getting 15 armor breaks, 2 expulsion, which is something you would expect from a team that has Goblin in it, 1 death, and 1 pass gone great. Goat, no spoilers. Nah, it's fine, don't worry. I guess everyone knows the results by now. So we were saying it's a draw, 0-0. 0 touchdown on both sides, and we can see, as we said already, the statistic for Roughing the Ref, and Axion All-Stars got 11 armor breaks, and that's pretty much it. We can see a great MVP on the Yeti, and a good MVP on the Goblin side, so these are both level ups. Moving on to the statistics. Roughing the Ref at a 50% ball possession, so the Goblins kept the ball for themselves for a long while the Nords were trying to deal with that. We can, as the occupation of both elves can confirm us. We can see the successful pass, which went into a successful catch, and then we can see the Norse being Norse and just hitting stuff. We can see KOs. We can see Goblins getting absolutely wrecked with the kill. A fair number of yards passing, of yards running, and just the bare minimum of yards passing. And nothing too extraordinary in the other statistics, so we can move on to the SPP. As we've seen, Red Rob got the MVP, so he got his 5 SPPs, which lead to a level up. Then we can see Jonas the youngest, which is probably the one that dealt the pass, and Ripper. Who unfortunately, wait, is that Ripper? I'm gonna check the team later on. I don't remember if it's just one of his player or if it is the star player which scored. Then we got Action All-Stars, which got 7 SPPs from Johnny Greco Jr., which, if I'm correct, is the Yeti, which leveled up. And then we got 4 SPPs for John Wack 4 and 2 SPPs for Xander Ray Jr. And let's move to the dice rolls. So Roughing the Ref got 30 ones and 48 sixes. So we can see a lot of disparity, but we should also consider that these 5 and 6s are usually rolled, if I'm correct, for armor breaks and injuries. And since we've seen a lot of injuries, I'd say some of these numbers went on to the unfortunate goblins who just got splatted. But let's go and see if there's something particular. We can see 38 dodges from the gobos. So yeah, that's a lot, and considering they are AG-free, this 82% statistic is quite great for him. A fair number of armor rolls. We can see the bribe work twice, so there was no failed bribe. We can see 25 going for its working, which is a lot and great considering the 83% standard chance. We can see managed to pick up the ball fairly often. We can see tried a lot of passes and just one got through, which is confirmed by the catches. We can see he tried to throw a gobbo and it didn't go well, clearly. And then, yeah, casualties, really stupid, doing fairly good. There were 3 failures. Depends on if these 3 failures were um, in critical moments, or if it was just when like there was nothing more to do. Pro worked once and once didn't, and we can see a region on probably one of the trolls that did his job. Anything more extraordinary? No, except Chainsaw, which didn't fail, so good for the Looney. And now moving to Action All-Star dices. So we can see his big guy didn't cooperate for this match. It's clear his big guy just didn't want to hear about it. He probably stand being useless for most of the match, looking at this percentage. And at least the loner went through. Other special dices to take in consideration? I wouldn't say so. Alright, so let's move to the block dices. We can see 15 skulls and 11 pows for roughing the ref. So they probably had some trouble dealing with the fighting game, especially because he doesn't really have access to block. And his team, I don't know how many of the opponents have dodge right now, but I still guess these, especially if they were 1 in 9s. Let's check if we see a lot of 1 in 9s. No, he had no 1 in 9s, but we can see reroll failed here. So probably had a fairly tough time dealing with the blocking game against the Action All-Stars. So Action All-Stars instead got 15 skulls and 20 pows. This quite kinda justifies the number of injuries and the death we have seen earlier. So this is for the match, which went into a draw. Now let's move to the team development, which I closed accidentally, so I will take a moment to open it up. Roughing the Ref, there it is. Alright, so we can see Roughing the Ref by Fuiger got 1,000 fans adding to his team after the draw, so they enjoyed the massacre of their team. And we can see 3 new goblin, 2 new goblins, and 1 to be a sub of the death. And then we can see William Defoe being missing next game because of a niggling injury he suffered this match, but we can also see the level up on Red Rob with a new diving tackle piece, which is great for goblins. And that's pretty much it for the development of this team. Now let's move to Action All-Stars. So, Action All-Stars lost 1,000 fans from this draw, so they didn't appreciate it. Strange. They usually love death of goblins, but alright. And we can see his level ups. So, the Yeti got Guard, Johnny Rico Jr., and Xander Ray Jr. got Fend, which is a fair skill for a lineman. About this level up, I'd say I don't know if if I choose fan, I would look for something more, useful in the practice, like I don't know, kick or mm, I I would say, yeah, maybe kick or dirty player. But okay, I guess that's it for Action All-Star Team. So this was a draw. Let's see in our prediction format who got the or tackle. Yeah, exactly. Goat tackle is also a good skill in this division. There are a lot of dodgy teams. All right, so let's check the predictions. So who voted for the draw? Let's see, and nobody voted for the draw again. So as got spoiled for the people in chat. So we can see Fiat and Beer Monkey voting for Roughing the Ref, while airing Zord, no rough, Draconius, me and Bazmans voting for Action Soul Stars, so no points assigned for this match. Alright, and we are moving on to the next match. So it's REBBL Vaporwolves against the iTunes Hustlers. Oof, alright. So here we got a 3-0 victory for iTunes Hustlers. We can see 3 touchdowns, as of course the score reflects, 9 armor breaks, 2 expulsions, and 1 pass. Then we can see Fiat Laksha team with 2 passes, 3 armor breaks, 1 expulsion, and no touchdowns. Let's go in the statistics and see how that went. So we can definitely say that iTunes Hustlers got the total control of the ball. They didn't really leave any space for Fiat Laksha to play with the ball, try and get a offensive chance at the ball. So I would say no blitzes, no good kicks, no good scatters. Definitely a hard time for Fiat Laksha to deal with the ball play. We can see iTunes Hustlers run basically double the time of Fiat Laksha team. So we can say that these elves managed to keep the ball moving so that Fiat couldn't get at it. And then nothing extraordinary in the meaning of blocking. Let's go and see the SPPs. So we can see 5 SPPs on Kitsune Moonlight, 1 on Cerulean Series, and 1 on Vantage right on time. For iTunes Hustlers, we can see 8 SPPs on Steve Sharper, 6 SPPs on I think that's Ricochet or Ricochet, and 1 SPP on Batch Gazady. Oh, you were expecting more damage, Goat. Yeah, I was also hoping the Skaven would beat hard the Chaos Dwarfs with some sort of magic and miracles so I could get an easier match against Wan Chi next week. But, you know, you can't always hope for your team, your opponent's team being massacred the week before you play against them. Sure, it's good to dream. Alright, so let's move to the teams. We can see REBBL Vaporwaves, which went for standard dodges. We can see Zelf were absolutely unlucky with dodges, unless he threw dodges in tackle zones. It's a 59% chance, quite low for elves. You would expect way better. You can see very even armor break. So you can see he's also suffered from stuns. We can see good rolls on injuries at least, so that was probably stuns. And since we don't see many injuries or very exceptional numbers in KOs waking up. And then we got normal dices all around. Maybe this 5 passing in failures. I don't know. I would guess, considering the control of the pitch iTunes Hustlers had during the match, they were probably a lot of passes dealing with tackle zones in some sort. But at least there were a lot of successful catches, although no one could reach the touchdown line. And yeah, yeah, Goat. I would expect a lot of cage diving from this kind of teams. So yeah, that's probably what happened here with the Dodgers. And let's move to iTunes Hustlers D6s. So we can see he did 8 catches, no, with not a break of a sweat. They just did it. And then we can see a fair number of armor rolls. We can see no injuries were too difficult for him, so we haven't seen any injury in the match. but we can see a standard 30 dodges from the elves, which went basically all of them great except for two. I would guess these two were rerolled probably. And then we can see the lightning bolt hitting Fiat Luxia's team, if I'm correct. Probably. I still don't remember which one is the failure and which one is the success. But there was a wizard. And then we can see a failure on the Daventacle. We can see the bribe went through, and we can see the wake up also were good. So both the lightning bolt and the fireball. Yeah, these were. Yeah, exactly, goat. And also I can see there were two wizards on, if I'm correct, Itun Hustler's side. That's something to keep in mind. Alright, so let's check for the blocking dice. We can see 8 skulls and 10 pows on REBBL Vaporwelves. Not too many dice were thrown, I'd say, standard 3 pages, but a lot of bushes, so quite couldn't get Itun Hustler's player on the ground. Then we move to Itun Hustlers and see their dice. So it's quite, yeah, they're quite the same. We can see still 9 skulls, 10 pows, and 29 pushes. So I would say this was a really non-violent match, mainly about the ball, as the score reflects. Alright, so this was REBBL Vaporwelves against Itun Hustlers. Let's see their team development. I'm almost there. Alright, there it is. Okay, so this is Fiat Luxia team. We can see nothing really changed for the team. As I said, not a really violent game. The lack of touchdowns makes for a lack of SPPs. So there was not really anything in evidence except for the buying of a new lineman called Loser//99. I hope that is the slash, otherwise Major Bite will probably beat me with a mace. Alright, and let's see Itun Hustler's development from Herringsword. We can see, yeah, Goatee just got the new guy. Nah, don't worry too much, he's a lineman. I'm quite sure you can deal with him. Alright, so we can see from Herringsword that he got 1,000 more fans for his team after that 3-0 victory, which quite makes sense. And we can see that Matt Ricochet, or Ricochet, I still have no idea how to pronounce it, has got a new Dodge player. And so it's really great for Herringsword and his team, which isn't suffering from injuries for the first week. Alright, so this was the match and the development. Let's move to our beautiful predictions. So, let's see who won. Okay, so the winners are me, Corbor, Besman Grob, and Beer Monkey. Congratulations for your well-earned point. Let's go and update the file, which is of course live because that's the only way I can do this. I'm gonna get faster at this. So it's 1 point for me and then 1 point for Corbor and 1 for Basman Grub and 1 for Beer Monkey. There it is. All right. No, I'm Goat. I'm not first. I'm not ahead. I'm dealing with our lovely admin, which wasn't absolutely bribed to make this competition look fair. All right, so yeah, this is our actual prediction leaderboard, and sorry, Goat. And let's move to the next match of the week. Oh, so this was my match, Very Necromantic Necros against the Heroes of Time Forgotten. What do we want to say about this match? I'm not, since I didn't have the chance to watch the other matches, I'm going to be fair and not talk too much about our matches, except that I was absolutely wrecked. Thank you for confirming it in chat, Goat. So yeah, no, you didn't win by pure luck. There was your skill, there was my skill, and there were also my bad dices. So yeah, this was a very fair match. Actually, he played great, and I just got absolutely massacred. That injury on the wolf is terrible, but let's go one step at a time. So, very necromantic Necros against Heroes of Time Forgotten. We can see 9 armor breaks on the very necromantic Necros, and that's it. Against the 2 touchdowns and 16 armor breaks from Heroes of Time Forgotten. So, a 2-0 for Einuraf the Goat match. We can see the MVPs on Frankie, which was a fresh ghoul, and an MVP on Cranium Chewer, which, if I'm correct, should just be an MNG. Let's see the statistics. Yeah, it's MNG. Thank you for the confirm. So, as you can see, Heroes Time Forgotten got most of the possession of the ball. I had some time picking it up. I have some hard time picking it up and keeping it. We can see some good blocks from Heroes of Time Forgotten, especially from the star player, Ramtut. I don't remember his name right now. And then we can see a lot of free arts running from Heroes of Time Forgotten, while I simply tried to not crash myself and still crashed myself terribly on the ground. And a fair number of casualties and more to come on that later. Yeah, I agree, Goat, that Ramtut was definitely worth the money, which is the main reason why I cut my team value almost in half after that match. So for SPPs, as we said, MVP on Frankie, and then we got 2 MVPs on Holoferner's Two Tails, one of the Wolf, and then 2 MVPs on Wolfgar the Harbinger, which, if I'm correct, is a Wit. Then we can see the MVPs on Heroes of Time Forgotten, which is 5 SPPs as the MVP for Cranium Chewer. We can see 1 touchdown, if I'm correct, from Cranium Robber, 2 SPP from Nazalmun the Great as an injury, and 3 SPP from Coffin Splitter, which I would guess it's still a ghoul. Yeah, I can say, Goat, but you actually like craniums. Yeah, are you sure you're not a... Oh, yeah, well, it's undeath, so yeah, makes sense. All right, let's check for the D6s. I got 39 ones and 28 sixes, which quite speak for itself. I got a fair number of armor rolls. I got a fair number of injuries. You can see my dodges, which were a lot, went fair, like a 50-50, a bit above, a bit below average since I mostly dodge with my AG3 pieces, but hey, that's the game. And then I got a lot of GFIs, except for one GFI, which is the one that led to the terrible injury on my wolf. Then you can see, as I said before, hard time picking up the ball, hard time keeping it, but at least my pass was good. And then you can see the fireball from Goat, which was fairly great for me. Like I didn't really suffer. It was just one player down, but just a stun. And then you can see usual number of the other skills. Yeah, exactly, Goat. It was a very critical GFI fail, which probably led to one of the 2 touchdowns. So let's move to Heroes of Time Forgotten D6s. So we can see standard rolls on the pickup, fair number on armor, a fair number of injuries, 5 very good GFIs, the regeneration of his player worked, chaos just got up, and a fair number of dodges. We can see 14 ones and 14 sixes. So when I talk about skill, I mean also being able to roll less dices and making them more efficient. You can see the difference here. Alright, so let's move to the blocking dices. We got 29 skulls for my team and 28 pows with 30 buff downs and 40 defender stumbles. these didn't lead to any real injuries or significant results. Sorry, I was wrong. I accidentally put the both teams. Yep. Okay, so rewind and let's go back from my mistake. So it was 12 skulls for me and 8 pows with 15 defender stumbles and 11 both downs. I'm sorry, I really got confused there. So yeah, as I said, I had a fairly hard time dealing with Goat's team in terms of hitting players, mostly pushes and good blocks and lot of rerolls. I remember, if I'm correct, using all my 5 rerolls in the first 5 turns of the match. And let's move to Heroes of Time Forgotten, which got 17 skulls, 20 pows, and a fair number in the middle with a lot of pushes. Yeah, I do agree that some. Are you still mad about the fireball? Oh well. So yeah, a lot of stumbles and not having dodge on many players. They quite put a dent in my strategy and had to deal with a lot of difficulty just trying to keep the team together. It got split up fairly earlier. Yeah, I agree that the fireball was kind of the equalizer for me getting absolutely wrecked, Goat. Alright then, so these are the results for Very Necromantic Necros versus Heroes of Time Forgotten. It was a 2-0 match, and let's check our predictions. So, let's see. The winners of these predictions are Fiat Luxia and Diogoat. So, let's update the prediction form. So, Fiat Luxia got the 2 and I can't find you in the file. And Goat got another point. See, it's not rigged. It's fair. Absolutely no bribing involved. And that's it for this week's match. So moving on. Oh, thank you, Goat. Yeah, I try my best to not being too salty about my matches. Sometimes I lose my patience, but I try my best to keep it up, keep it together, Alright, so next match, it's Redman Forever again. No, wait, I forgot the team development because predictions just got me. Alright, so first we do the team development. So, Very Necromantic Necros. As I said, I cut off absolutely my team value to 1610, and then I did this by cutting my rerolls. I'm going to go for just 3. I've lost 2,000 fans because of my royal box for my stadium. I was playing home. I got an armor loss on all of Erner's Two Tails because of that critical GFI. And then I just bought a new zombie to compensate a bit of the losses of my team, and also to I fired Eric Shin, which was bringing my team to a stellar team value. So I decided to fire the Take All Dauntless something something zombie and just get a new random guy. And let's go for Heroes of Time Forgotten level ups. So we got an increase of 2,000 fans, so you gained 2,000 fans from that match, and we can see Cranium Chewer getting his MNG. And that's pretty much for the development of your team. So good luck for your next week uh, without that goal. All right, so next teams, next match. So Redman Forever against Red Bull Chorfing. We can see the game was a draw, 1-1, with 5 armor breaks for the Redman Forevers against the 16 armor breaks from Red Bull Churfing and 1 expulsion. So as we can see, the Reds definitely had a hard time dealing with the fights. So the MVPs went to Eltabol Snarl and to Max Ghostbane, which is very close to his level up. Let's go for the statistics. So we can see as the draw tells us an almost similar, if not same, control of the ball during the whole of the match. We can see there were no passings, so no passing game, just fighting and carrying. And we can see the Chorf being Chorfs and hitting a lot of the Rats. We can see them dealing a lot of injuries and KOs. So we can expect that at a certain point there were no Rats on the field, which is quite usual for Skavens. I tend to call them Rats too often. We can see a fair number of yards running and nothing too exceptional to talk about. Let's move to the SPPs. So we got the 5 SPPs on the lineman Rat Altabul Snarl. We can see 2 SPPs on Glart Smash Rip Jr. and we can see 3 SPP on Salk. Then moving to Red Bull Chorfing, we can see 8 SPPs on Smax Ghostbane, which, if I'm correct, is the one very close to the level up. And then we got 4 SPPs for Garak Quicktooth, 2 SPPs for Utkal Red Bull, 2 SPPs for Bartak Lazy Blitz, and 2 SPPs for Barton Slice Tongue. Let's analyze the dices. So, Rutman Forever did 24 dodges and only 6 failed, so I would say that most of these were made by gutter runners. Then we see normal rate of going for it, a fairly awful number of injuries, KOs which got up fairly soon. We can see casualties being an impacting factor on the match, and we can see the pickups were great and nothing more to say. We got 19 ones and 18 sixes. So I would say that the sixes were fairly standard overall. Right, moving to Red Bull Chorfing. His pickups were fairly honest, considering that you would expect those pickups to be with the how do you call them? I don't remember the name. The four-leggy ones. Yeah, that's them. Then you can see the dodges were great and a lot of GFIs, which you would expect with Sure Feet. You can see the fireball was an average. Then you can see the 5 injuries and the catches. Alright, moving to the blocking dices. You can see 7 skulls and 15 pows from the Redman Forevers, from the Skavens, and 18 pushes. So I would say that that Redman Forever's blocking dices were fairly good for him, even if he suffered major losses. But this means also that he could avoid additional injuries by not killing himself. Red Bull Chorfing. So we can see 11 skulls and 18 pows from Red Bull Chorfing. So while I would say that the rats dices were fairly good about the fighting on their side, Chaos Dwarfs also had good dices on their own side, which is probably what led to the many injuries and the many SPPs Wan Chi managed to get on his teams. Alright, so this was the match of Redman Forever against Red Bull Chorfing, which went for a 1-1 draw. Let's go for the team development. I'm gonna fetch those results very soon. There it is. Alright, so we can see the Dusk Bunny with his team getting 1000 fun factor, so 1000 fans, so it's a 1+ fun factor on his team. And we can see Knitch losing his armor roll, which, if I'm correct, no, wait, it's not. Okay, so yeah, we can see his lineman getting an armor value loss, which is not that big of a deal since it's a punching bag, nothing important on his important players. Alright, Goat, good luck with your match and see you again next time. Let's go for the Red Bull surfing development. So we got 1,000 fans which just left this team, even with the draw and the massacre of Skavens. And we can see Wharton Slystone getting a guard as his level up. Yeah, good luck with your match, the Open Seasoning Playoffs. Good luck. All right. So this is the development of Yuanchi team Red Bull Chorfing. And let's see for our predictions. So the game was a draw, as we said, and the winner is Eringzord. So Eringzord is at 2 points, leading with all of us. Alright, so this match is completed. Let's move to the next and last team of this week's recap, which should be just right here. If I didn't, okay, sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties, but everything is fixed. Alright, so Big Wolf Rescue against Got Two Heads Eagles, which should be Necromantics against the Underworld Denizens. Alright, yeah, it is. So it's 2 touchdowns against 1. 12 armor breaks against 9 armor breaks. So it's a 2-1 for Big Wolf Rescue. We can see the MVP on Reinka the Champion and Wout Drosta. I hope my pronunciations are correct. So it's a new goblin getting an MVP, and with a very well developed with getting another MVP. Let's go for the statistics. So we can see the Necromantics being able to defend their ball well, but all in all, the ball possession was fair. Although this little edge the Necromantics had was the one that made them probably win. We can see a fair numbers of KOs and injuries, but we can see also a kill from Big Wolf Rescue, and then we can see the Necromantics running or more than double the time of Got Two Head Eagles. Nothing more else about this, so let's move to the SPPs. We can see 5 SPPs on Reinka the Champions, the MVP we mentioned before, 2 SPPs on Alan the Barber, 3 SPPs on Carol the Howler, and 5 SPPs on Howard the Furry. And then we see on Got Two Head Seagulls 5 SPPs on Wout Drosta, 2 SPPs on Jarno van der Bos, and 3 SPPs on Gino Boss. Let's move to the dice rolls. So the Necromantics got a success armor rolls of 17, which leads to some of the injuries we've seen before. We see 6 successes on the injuries, and then we see a lot of GFIs, which luckily for him went all fairly well, and nothing more interesting to mention. So we're going to move to Got Two Head Eagles D6s. We can see 17 dodges with 8 failures, so we can assume that Stunty wasn't just enough to crack the shell you hope to get with Stunty teams. We can see a lot of armor and failure rolls on the armor. Sorry, a lot of success and failure rolls on the armor. And definitely something to mention about the injuries. Then we can see a fair numbers of GFI which went on the average percentage of possibility. We can see the big guy acted well. He didn't stay doing nothing for most of the match, like we've seen in the Yumi's match before. And then we can see a difficulty from the underworld denizens of taking and picking up the ball. And then there's not much else to mention. So moving up to the blocking dices, we've got 15 skulls, 17 pows, and an average in the middle. So I would say that Necromantics got an average amount of dices, and they were able just enough to capitalize on them to get their wins. Let's moving to the Underworld Denizens dices. So we see 18 skulls and 18 pows. Let's check if there were some, yeah, as I was expecting, some rerolls and 1 in 9s and 1 in 36s on the dices. Another 1 in 9 here, and more rerolls and more 1 in 9s, which for a team that doesn't really have access to block, it's quite painful. All right, so we have analyzed the dices of this match, and this was Big Wolf. I can't click it. Okay, this was Big Wolf Rescue against the Gat2 Eagles for a 2-1 victory for Big Wolf Rescue. Congratulations. Let's move to the team development. As soon as I can open it. So about Big Wolf Rescue, there's really nothing to mention. There were no increase or losses in fan factors, no players fired or level ups, so the team is just as it was, and you don't change something that's working. So let's move to Got Two Head Eagles, and let's see what happened on his team. So the fans sticked with him, but Rip, René, H. Clamp, we're sorry for your loss. And then we can see a Neji bust on Jen Kromkamp, which is quite not important since he was a new goblin. Alright, so this was the match, and let's check our predictions again. So, we can see that the winners are Fiat Luxia, Draconios, Basman Grub, and Fuiger. So, let's update the file with your victories as soon as I can get to it. So, Fiat Luxia, and then we get Draconios with his first point. Then we get Basman Grub, which is quite taking the lead. And then we can update Fuiger with his first point. So this is the prediction board. As you can see, we have two contenders for now for the title of Vizier, which are Fiat Luxia and Basman Grob, and we are going to see how this develops going on in the season. All right, so this was our week. Let's give a quick check for the next week matches. So we got Big Wolf Rescue versus Sigmar Blood Knights REBBL. So I'm going to try and do some very fast predictions about what I've seen from the last week, and I would say that the Necromantics are probably going to take this one home, mostly because of the team value management of the Necromantic coach. So I would guess that while Sigmar Blood have a lot of tackles, a lot of mighty blow pieces, I would say that the inducements for the Big Wolf Rescue, which is a team with no real injuries, no real issues, and a well-balanced team, are probably going to take this one home. Then we got Ratman Forever against the Got Two Head Eagles. I would call it a draw because I've seen the status in which the two teams are. There are injuries on both sides. However, maybe Got to Head Eagles has the slight advantage of not having to deal with too much stuff, while the Reds have to deal with some injuries. So I wouldn't really call a victory for both sides, and I would say that a draw is what I would expect. Then we got very necromantic Necros against Red Bull Chorfing. So for my team, losing the Wolf, which is not available for this match against a whole Armor 9 team, is probably going to be hard, which is the main reason why I would say that Red Bull Chorfing have the edge on this match, and I would expect them to win. Then next match, Rebel Vaporwelves against Heroes of Time Forgotten. So it's Fiat against Goat. I would call for a win for the Heroes of Time Forgotten, mainly because the Undead haven't suffered any real injury, and they have a lot of big pieces in their teams. So it's going to be hard for Fiat to manage to pick up the ball unless there are strange things like blitzes combined with a good scatter of the ball in the kickoff. Let's say that Fiat should really need to play great and also have luck to manage to deal with GOAT defense. Then moving on to Roughing the Ref against iTunes Hustlers. I would say that Haitun Hustlers have a great team, a lot of skills, and I can't really see if I'm correct, the goblins dealing with the, let's say, passing, catching, dodging power of the Hainun Hustlers. So I'm quite sure this is the team to look for if you want to bet your money on it. Moving on, Graf Billy's Vendetta against Exion All-Stars. So, Chaos against Elf, if I remember correctly. I would say that I don't really know how to call this a win for Graf Billy's Vendetta, because sure, his team is full of block, but unless you manage to cage it up very well and cover your corners very well, I think that a draw here is probably what I would expect from the next match. Then moving on to Minor Muppets against the Dark Mode FTW. So if I'm correct, it's a Chubstep team against Major Bite. I would call for a win on Minor Muppets, and that's because I've seen some injuries, if I'm correct, on Major Bite team, and also by seeing the win without too many casualties on Menor Muppet's side, I would be inclined to say that Menor Muppets are probably going to take this one home, unless, of course, Major Bite gets to do all the elf stuff, because, elves. So, yeah, I would say Menor Muppets. Alright, and this is the next week's schedule. So everyone, good luck with the start of the new week. Congratulations to all the teams that managed to win. Condolences to all the teams that have lost. And well, for the draws, there's always a next match to get your points on the board. So let's give a quick check on the leaderboard to see that right now Big Wolf Rescue, Menor Muppets, Heroes of Time Forgotten, and High Tune Hustlers are the ones leading the leaderboard, while we see Red Bull Surfing, Dark Mode, Graf Billy's Vendettas, Redman Forever, Roughing the Ref, and Action All Stars with their draws being in the mid-table, and then we have Sigmar Bold Knights, Good Two Head Eagles, Very Necromantic Necros, and the Rebel Vapor Welves trailing behind, but it's just the start of the season, so we're going to see how this develops along in the next weeks. So this was Mattiavi96 doing the recap of the first week of the Season 15 Division 4B REBBL GMAN. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I'm always looking. I'm sorry, Axion, the North team. Yeah, I got confused there. I hope you enjoyed the recap, and I hope to see you next week on my channel to see how things went and see how the predictions, if they were correct or not. I'm always happy to accept feedback, and I'm still looking to fix this whole stream things a bit. You know, I'm trying my best to being less awkward as possible, but sometimes I'm feeling real hard, and I'm going to see you later around. Thanks for joining us.
Sitting throwing rocks across the pavement, hoping it will cave and swallow me whole. Wondering why my mind keeps on spinning. This isn't how living to me was told. Why am I like this? Something's always amiss. Can't put my finger on it, but it's there. Wait for it to subside, but my mind won't apply. Waiting for the clear. Is it bad sometimes? I like it when I lose control. There's something in it that's so beautiful. Listen, I can see the light dim, but I can also see the bones decay. I don't know what else there is to say. I'm doing my best not to run away. Sit everything inside and waiting for the clear. Thankful I'm alive, but terrified of dying. But hey, I'm still here. Is it bad sometimes? I like it when I lose control. There's something in it that's so beautiful. Listen, I can see the light.